Now, since the end of the Oscar Pistorius trial, a frenzy of books have been published telling the story of the athlete's fall from grace. One book, Oscar, An Accident Waiting to Happen, is the inside story of ex-girlfriend Samantha Taylor's tumultuous relationship with the gold medal athlete, which turned into every mother's nightmare, written by Samantha's mother, Trish. Now, here's a brief breakdown of Samantha's involvement with Oscar Pistorius.
It all started as a blossoming romance. Samantha Taylor and Oscar Pistorius, very clearly in love, and on a romantic getaway in the Seychelles in 2012 for an exclusive shoot with top billing.
Oscar, what I've noticed is that you see the best in people, and I think that's what Sam loves about you.
She's just really laid back, and she understands some of the demands that I have, and it makes my life a lot easier spending time with someone that's you're very caring and
You're both blushing.
my face is the color of her dress.
But what began as a magical love affair all fell apart when, according to Taylor, Oscar cheated on her with Riva Steenkamp. Fast forward to 2014, and Samantha Taylor was in the witness stand, testifying not just about his unfaithful behavior, but portraying an angry and unstable Oscar, reckless with the use of firearms, as she described the incident in which Oscar shot a gun through the sunroof of a car.
They laughed and they said that they wanted to shoot a robot. And then Oscar shot a bullet out the sunroof.
With the trial now over, Samantha's mother, Trish, has released a tell-all book describing the relationship Oscar had with her daughter and family, and a prediction that when it came to Oscar, tragedy was, sooner or later, inevitable.
Now, with us in studio, we're joined by Samantha Taylor's mother and author of the book, Trish Taylor. Trish, thank you very much for taking the time to join us. So, a lot of people might be tempted to ask right now, why now? Why did you decide to put out the book and write the book right now?
I started writing the book in June last year, and it took almost a year to write with Melinda Ferguson. And one of the reasons that I wrote the book was we were advised in 2012 to speak out about Oscar, as I was terribly concerned about his behaviour. And we didn't speak out, and I actually don't think anyone would have listened. So part of writing the book was I thought if I don't speak out now and Oscar does something else, I'll never forgive myself. You know, I still feel sad that I didn't speak out earlier. And then we also wanted Samantha's truth told. You know, Oscar said she was a liar. We know she's not a liar. So we wanted her truth told, which we told in the book. And thirdly, there were three reasons. Thirdly, we were threatened by Oscar's friends on his behalf before he met Riva. And our whole family was, you know, nervous about Samantha's safety and our family's safety. And a forensic scientist said to us, the only way we can stay safe is to live in the light. And living in the light is basically telling everything you know.
Wow. Wow. And so the book details highs and lows, and clearly that was one of the lows. Is that how bad things got, or did they get even worse than that? I mean, having your whole entire family threatened.
Yeah. That was after they broke up. So we were actually quite delighted when they had broken up because it had been really exhausting and quite traumatic. And then to be threatened after that was a concern. They said we must watch our backs if we ever go back to Joburg, and just things that were a concern to us. It was difficult.
And Sam was with Oscar, if you were correcting me earlier on, for 1.5 years, about
That's
1.5
correct.
years
Yes,
in the relationship. You knowing Oscar the way that you did you ever think that things would ever get down to this kind of thing? Would it be that bad?
I knew something was going to go wrong. The last phone call I ever had with him in, I think it was the beginning of November or end of October in 2012. In that phone call, I said to him, you can't be part of our lives. Something's going to go wrong. And I actually thought by December something would have happened. But I thought he would either commit suicide or there would be a car accident because he was used to drive at 300 kilometers an hour. It was nerve-wracking. So it was a concern.
And I've got to ask this. I mean, your daughter was 17 years old, right? When she started going out with Oscar, and at the time he was 24. What was your feelings about the relationship in the beginning, knowing that there was such a big age gap, especially the fact that Sam was still in high school?
Yeah, she was in matric. It was actually about 2 or 3 months prior to her writing matric. She met him, and obviously it was a concern, but not our first concern. Our first concern was he was disabled. He was very high profile, and we didn't want Samantha in the limelight. So there was a big concern. And with being disabled, we were moving down to Cape Town. So in our minds, we were thinking, will he be okay to go to the beach? Can he swim? Because we didn't know him.
Yeah.
And so I think that those two concerns were bigger than his age at that stage. You know, the age kind of didn't seem as major.
Yeah. And now that you've written the book and it's out and it's available for people to buy and read, what do you want people to get out as a message from this book?
I think one of the messages was I used my gut feeling, and I was often on his case. So if he did something like he was speeding or there's a gun incident or something, I would phone him or I'd speak to him and I'd have serious conversations with him.
Yeah.
And then I sometimes doubted myself. I'd think, am I being paranoid? Why do I keep on phoning and shutting on him?
Yeah.
And then I thought, but I've got 3 other children and I don't do that with their partners. So
Yeah.
something in my heart was telling me, you've got to, you know, get on top of this. You've got to keep control of this.
Yeah.
So I think as a mom, we have to follow our gut feel. We just have to, and stick with it.
Yeah. And like I said, knowing Oscar the way you do, when you think about it, how do you think he's going to cope right now with his time in prison, no matter how long or short it might be? Do you think he might actually even potentially rise up, you know, out of the ashes, as it were?
Phew, I don't know. I mean, I think there's going to probably be an appeal, so I don't know how long he will be in prison for.
Yeah.
If he's only there for 10 months, I'm sure he'll be absolutely fine when he comes out of it. I hope that he takes the time to really look at his life. I asked him to step out of his life over a year ago and look back into his life and change things. And I'm hoping that he can use this opportunity to maybe do that and acknowledge things that he's done that are wrong and come out a better person. I really hope so.
Yeah. And is there any chance that you might reconcile, or perhaps Sam reconcile the connection with Oscar?
There's no way that Samantha will ever reconcile anything with him. And to be quite honest with you, you know, watching him stand on the stand in the court and saying Samantha Taylor is a liar with a straight face when we all know she's telling the truth, it just makes me feel that, no, I don't think I could reconcile with someone that's so ugly.
Yeah. Well, Trish, thank you very much for taking the time to join us this morning and share with us. The book is called Oscar, An Accident Waiting to Happen, and it is available in bookstores nationwide, of course. If you do pick up a copy, let us know what you think. We're always interested in knowing exactly what you think. But Trish, once again, thank you very, very much.
Thank
I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay.
Leigh-anne, over to you. What's happening?